Okay. Hello, my name is Victoria, and I'm with my classmate Melissa. And today we would like to share with you a little bit about the Receptive Expressive Emergent Language Test, 3rd edition, also known as the Real 3. The authors of the Real 3 are Kenneth R. Botts, Richard League, and Virginia L. Brown.
The Real 3 is a 132-item checklist based on emergent language research and specific age placement of developmental language milestones. The test is administered in an interview format, and the parent or caregiver is asked questions regarding their child's receptive and expressive language skills. This test consists of 2 subtests that measure receptive and expressive language skills. It is appropriate for young children aged 0 to 36 months.
The Real 3 can be used to identify babies or young children who are developing language at a delayed pace, to determine any significant discrepancy between receptive and expressive processes of language, to document children's progress during language intervention programs, and to measure receptive and expressive language research studies based on informant report.
The Real 3 consists of 2 subtests, a receptive language subtest and an expressive language subtest. The raw scores from the 2 subtests are combined into an overall composite score. That composite score represents an overall language ability. The subtest questionnaire ranges from questions about the baby's reflexive and affective behaviors to more complex, intentional, adult-like communication of preschoolers.
The receptive language subtest is a 66-item checklist which measures the child's responses to sounds or language. The yes or no questions ask for information such as, does your baby appear to understand new words each week? And the examiner circles yes or no as appropriate. We will now demonstrate a portion of the receptive language subtest. These are a few questions for a caregiver of a child 0 to 6 months. Does your baby cry a lot in a loud, clear voice?
Yes.
Besides crying, does your baby make different kinds of sounds?
Not really.
The total number of yes responses is the subtest raw score. The standard score that is yielded is reported as the receptive language ability score.
The expressive language subtest measures the child's oral language production according to what the parent or caregiver reports. It is conducted in the same way as the receptive language subtest. We will now demonstrate a portion of the expressive language subtest. These questions are for a caregiver of a child 7 to 12 months. Does your baby playfully babble or chatter?
Yes.
Does your baby try to imitate what she or he hears from you or from people around you?
Yes. The test also provides a list of supplementary questions that allows the clinician to find out something about the parent or caregiver's language or gain insight to the child's language development. These questions are open-ended and require more than a yes or no answer. For example, what does your baby do when he or she hears a sudden loud noise? The clinician makes a note of the answers, but they are not analyzed statistically. Because the interpretation of this information elicited through clinical interviews depends on the training and expertise of the clinician.
Administration of the Real 3 is relatively simple. It can be administered by anyone competent in the field of education, language, or psychology. The examiner asks the parent or caregiver a series of questions that require yes or no answers found in the examiner booklet. The clinician records the responses directly on the examiner's record booklet. There are entry points, basals, and ceilings in order to shorten the testing time. Testing begins with an entry point corresponding to the child's age. Then the basals are the lower limit of testing and consist of the first 5 items of the test that are answered as yes, and all items below the basal are scored as correct. Ceilings represent the upper limit of the testing and occur when there are 5 consecutive items marked no. This test takes approximately 20 to 30 minutes to administer.
The first score you report is the raw score, which is the number of yes responses given by the parents. Each yes equals 1 point, and each no equals 0 points. From that, you convert the raw score into a standard score by using tables A, A1, and 2. The standard score is reported as the ability score. There is an ability score for the receptive and expressive subtests, and these two scores are combined to give you a language ability score. The language ability score indicates the child's overall language ability. Percentile ranks for the subtest ability scores and the language ability score are found in table C1. Age equivalents are converted raw scores using table D1.
The Real 3 is normed on a sample of 1,112 infants and toddlers from 32 states across the U.S. This sample was tested from 2001 to 2002. Demographic characteristics of the sample was representative of the nation as a whole in regards to geographic region, gender, race, ethnicity, family income, educational level of parents, and disabling conditions. The variables of ethnicity, gender, and religion were weighed to assure that the sample was more proportionate to the U.S. population of children younger than 5. The reliability of a test estimates the amount of error variance associated with its scores. For a test like the Real, it is considered reliable if the coefficient is above 0.8. Content time and inter-rater reliability was tested for the Real 3. Content sampling reflects the degree of consistency among items within a test or subtest. Convex coefficient alpha method was used to test the content sampling reliability. Coefficients for subtests were equal to or exceeded 0.8 in all but 3 cases. Those cases were 3-month-old receptive language, 3-month-old expressive language, and 3-month-old language ability composite. Coefficients were equal to or exceeded 0.9 in 32 of 42 cases. The magnitude of these coefficients indicates that the Real 3 is highly reliable and its results can be used with confidence. Errors caused by timing sampling is the extent to which a person's test performance is constant over time. The test-retest method is used to test timing sampling reliability. The test-retest coefficients were greater than 0.75, which indicates reliability and that its results contain little to no timing sampling errors. And then, when results in a test depend on the subjectivity rating of an examiner, it is necessary to examine the reliability of raters on an item-to-item basis. Cohen's kappa was used to examine inter-rater reliability. Receptive language, expressive language, and language ability composites all had a coefficient of 0.99. These scores indicate that the inter-rater reliability is excellent.
Okay. A test is valid if it measures what it's supposed to measure. 3 types of validity were tested for the Real 3: content description validity, criterion prediction validity, and construct identification validity. Based on the information gathered, it is a valid measure of phonological awareness. The information regarding sensitivity and specificity was not included in this assessment.
Overall, there were several positive aspects to the Expressive Receptive Emergent Language Test, 3rd edition. The manual was easy to interpret and scoring was relatively simple. The Real 3 has a quick administration time, which is always a plus for busy clinicians, and the supplementary questions provide the clinician with additional information that might otherwise be missed. These questions allow the caregiver to provide more than a simple yes or no response. Like any test, there is room for improvement. Parents' perception is not always entirely accurate or reliable. These tests might be best suited as a supplementary test to a full language evaluation. And as we noted before, this test does not provide sensitivity or specificity. We as clinicians know how important this is when selecting assessment materials.
We hope you've enjoyed our presentation and that it will help you when determining which test to use in the future. Thank you.